my dilemma. Like the rest of the Sony world, I've been desperately waiting on the A7S update. Since that is not happening, I had a decision to make, and in this video, I'm going to tell you why the Sony A6400, not the A6600 or the 6100, is the answer to that problem. But first and foremost, welcome to Creative Tech Lab. My name is Leo. This is the YouTube channel to accompany our website, creativetechlab.com, where we do talk about all things creative. Right now here on the channel, a lot about run and gun videography. So if you're into that kind of thing, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. You will not be disappointed, and I would greatly appreciate it. So when it became apparent that the A7S was not coming out, whatever it was going to be, the A7S 3 or 4 or whatever, I was thoroughly upset, maybe even mildly depressed. That might be an overstatement, but you know what I mean. So for those of you that follow along, or if you're new here, just to let you know, I started this channel with the Sony RX100. It kind of really got me into using pro features on a camera, but there's just a ton of stuff that looking forward that I want to shoot with interchangeable lens cameras. So I've outgrown the RX100 for right now, and the A7S just seemed like it was going to have everything that I needed in it. So when I started weighing things out, it really came down to three options: the newly announced but not released A6600, the A6400, or I could have just went full dive into full frame and just went with an A7Siii. Alright, so ultimately I decided to go with the A6400, and here is why. First and foremost, price. At $900, that is a really competitive price given the feature set. It's probably the best option under $1,000 for a startup creator for an interchangeable lens camera. And as we're talking about it in juxtaposition to the A6600, the A6600 is coming in at $1,400. And while I haven't gotten my hands on it yet, the feature set is almost identical with the exception of the headphone monitoring jack and IBIS. $500 is a steep price to really pay for IBIS. I don't really care about the headphone jack that much. It's pretty much the cost of a lens. It's actually even a little bit more than the lens that my new favorite lens, the Sigma 16mm f1.4 for the APS lens. It is sweet. And to be honest, at the cost of the A6600, when it is that you start to adding up the lenses and all that stuff, at $1,400, it probably would have just made more sense to spend the extra money and just go all the way full frame at that point. The sale has ended, but just a few weeks ago, the A7 III was on sale for $1,700, and I'm sure there's going to be a little bit more sales in between now and whatever the new cameras come out next year. So it just didn't seem like the A6600 was the best value for me at this particular time. And then as far as the A6100, which was the other camera that was recently announced from Sony, again for $150, without this full spectrum of color profiles that I've gotten used to on the RX100, HLG being one of my favorites, it just didn't seem like saving a couple, well not even a couple hundred, saving just $150 was worth it. So the A6400 was right in the sweet spot in terms of price and value. The other thing that led me to the A6400, which is kind of just a Sony point overall, but it's the E-mount lens system, compatibility, and lens choices out there. Because I am 100% certain that I will get whatever the next A7 update is, whether it be the A7S III, A7S IV, A7 IV, whatever it is, I'm gonna get it. Although recently on one of Donna's videos, I did reply about the A7S not being out, and he said, what if the A7S III never comes out? Stop it, Donna, just stop it. That is not a thought experiment that I'm willing to do. They said it's coming out, so I believe it's coming out eventually sometime next year. But because it is that I will get whatever the update is to the next A7, for me, it's really cool that I can start investing in some full frame lenses and still be able to use it on the A6400. And then when it is that I upgrade, I already have glass that's ready for that. And then when you start to look at just the whole spectrum of third-party lenses for APS-C and for full frame, the fact that you can use the full frame on the crop body, sometimes you're gonna get a little bit more reach on that. It's just puts me in a situation where I could kind of future-proof my purchase, and this still be a good purchase for me now, but some of the lens that I'm able to purchase will be a good option for me in the future as well. And speaking of lenses, once it is that I do upgrade to full frame, another thing that also influenced my decision was this will become the perfect B camera once it is that I do get an A7 camera. So a lot of the things that I'm looking towards filming will require multiple camera angles, therefore multiple bodies. The A6400 would be the perfect complement in my mind because of the price point, and then again with the interchangeable lens compatibility there, you'll be able to set this camera up. You get a little bit more reach on a zoom in or whatever, but the fact that you'll be able to use lenses back and forth with an A7 camera with this here, I think it would be the perfect B camera. So it'd be my A camera now, but once I upgrade, it'll still be usable, and at the price point, again, for the value that I'm getting, it was the right decision in my mind. So what about IBIS? IBIS. Like the homie Tech Notice said, it sounds like some kind of a serious illness, some kind of a disease. But to me, IBIS isn't worth it again for the price at the A6600. More importantly though, if you guys know anything about Sony in-body stabilization, it's typically not that great. From the reviews that I've seen from the people that have got their hands on the A6600 early, it seems like it's pretty much like the A6500, so it doesn't seem to be that great anyway. And then for me personally, I'm not a big walk around, hold the camera up vlogger, but even in the times that I do, here's some test footage just to show you guys. This is with the wide angle Sigma 16mm lens, me walking around just to test footage to show you guys. Also did a test with the new 16 to 55 2.8 lens. This is me walking around with that one here, and this is in probably the worst possible conditions for me. I just come back from the gym, had too much caffeine in my pre-workout, my arms were exhausted, so they're definitely shaky there, and as you can see from the footage, it is a little bit shaky, but it's 100% usable. And if it is that you're going to be talking about getting stabilized footage while it is that you're walking around, even though that's not what IBIS is necessarily for, go ahead and get a stabilized lens just to show the difference between stabilized lens on the A6600. This is the 18 to 105 f4 stabilized lens, me just walking around with the lens again in the same terrible condition. So again, if it is that I was looking for stabilized footage, I would just go ahead and spend the money on the lens and get a stabilized lens rather than going ahead and getting the A6600. So I've only had this camera for a few weeks now, and I haven't put it through its full paces in terms of shooting with it, but I can say that I am fairly satisfied. Well, fairly is not even the right word. I can say that I'm pretty blown away so far. The option of having interchangeable lens and some of the lenses that come with it, I'll show you some footage here from the Sigma f1.4 from inside a dark club when I was shooting. It just gives a super clean image, and this footage is at 60 frames per second. So the shutter speed was cranked all the way up to 125 frames per second. In a dark club, I'm still getting a great image quality, and with that Sony dynamic range, you know how well they do in low light. Even on the A6400, the image was coming out fairly clean as well. I also feel like I'm getting a little bit better colors than I was getting with the RX100. I know people have talked about improved color science. It's kind of close, but I feel like I'm getting improved color science as well thus far with the stuff that I've been shooting. And to be honest, thus far, just in using it, it may have changed my mind in what is the best option for a beginner content creator. If fitting in your pocket is not the ultimate driver for you, then I think the A6400 body with the right lens might be the perfect setup for any vloggers, YouTube creators, or just beginner hobbyists here that's looking to get a mirrorless camera. So anyway, look forward to more videos on this camera. I will do a full review after I've put it through its paces. I'm actually going to be traveling with it and a few lenses here over the holidays. So I'll take it down to Florida, take it to the beach, do whatever it is that I need to do there, and then I'll do a full review on what I think of the A6400 coming up soon, just from my perspective. But hopefully this helps somebody out that was in a similar situation. Maybe you were waiting on the A7S3 to come out and that didn't happen, and what you're gonna do in the interim. Maybe you wanted to go full frame but you didn't want to drop a full $2,000 on an A7 III. Again, at half the cost or less than half the cost, this is a good option to start getting some lenses, and then when the A7S or whatever A7 actually comes out, then you can go ahead and buy it. So again, if this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, please go ahead, drop it a like. It does help out the channel here and does help out the videos. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button for more content to come. I'm also going to do a comparison to this against the RX100 because I know a lot of people have been asking for that. So again, a lot more content to come, a lot more reviews on the lens combos that I've decided to get with this body as well. And then I keep on saying it, but it's just, I'm getting to it. The audio stuff is coming as well if you're into that kind of thing. So yeah, that's it. I will catch you in the next one, and keep creating, keep doing your thing, and I'll see you later. Peace. Boom!